Call the meeting to order and begin with the invocation.
Let us pray. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity that we have as leaders to serve our community. We pray for clarity and wisdom in the decisions that are made and the discussions that we have tonight, that we work in unity. We thank you for the opportunity that you've given us to be a part of this leadership. Give us wisdom. Please bless those that are working here tonight in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any changes to the agenda this evening?
I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Lambert, second by Commissioner Wentz to approve the agenda. Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, next we have public comments. This is the time where citizens are encouraged to speak publicly. We request that you come to the podium, state your name and address, speak respectfully, and limit your comments to 3 minutes. The commission will listen and consider your comments, but no immediate action will be taken at this time. We'll move on to the action agenda this evening. We'll begin with the resolution 2025-2206, the issuance of bonds for improvements.
Thanks for allowing me to speak tonight. Clayton Kelly with Piper Sandler, financial advisor to the city. Tonight, there are 2 action items. The first 2 action items are kind of grouped together in terms of what they represent. The first one, essentially, anytime you move forward with a capital project and you finance it through a bond issuance or a temporary note issuance, you have to essentially authorize that bond financing. So that's really what this first action does, is it allows the city to move forward with financing for the projects listed. I believe it's East 7th Street, 11th Street, and Highland Drive project. So that's the action for the first item. And the second one that I just go ahead and discuss, if that's all right with you, before the action is taken, in regards to the authorization for the bond financing sale. So essentially that allows the city to move forward to secure financing rates for these projects that you're looking at financing. And a reminder that one of those projects does include the Sunflower Road project, and that was temporary note financed back in December of 2023. So we're essentially taking out or paying off that temporary note and moving forward with permanent financing. The financing length for that project is a little over 20 years. For these other projects, East 7th Street, 11th Street, and Highland Drive, those are 15-year financing terms. So level debt service annually for those projects. If the city decides to move forward and approve those 2 action items this evening, essentially next steps for the city is to lock in interest rates. Right now we have that scheduled for October 1st at a sale at 10 a.m. and then we'll come back later that evening and review the bid results for the permanent bond financing. So all of those projects financed within one bond issuance. It's one bond sale. As of right now, interest rate wise for all those projects, we're looking at anywhere from probably 4.5% to 5% interest rate, just based on current markets. And as a reminder, any bond financing comes with the ability to prepay it off early if you have the funds available, typically after 10 years. So it's something a little unique for bonds, and that's at no penalty. This provides for closing, and funds will be available by October 30th. which also allows for that temporary note that I discussed earlier, the 2023 related to Sunflower. That is paid off the next day, so November 1st. So with that, I'd be happy to take any questions.
Just to clarify, I think the Sunflower Road improvements that we're talking about here, that's the formal name that we're using for the bonds, but it's the same thing as the public improvements for the St. Joseph subdivision. I would move to approve resolution 2025-2206.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hutchison, second by Commissioner Lambert to approve resolution 2025-2206. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
I move to approve resolution 2025-2207.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hutchison, second by Commissioner Lambert to approve resolution 2025-2207. Any further discussion on the sale? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate being here.
Okay, next we have the Center Point Development Agreement.
Mayor and Commissioners, we have a development agreement ready to go. This will be for Center Point Formulations, which is a new business that's located in the North Development. And we've worked through the terms of the agreement. As you can see in your memo, some of the major points, key points of that development agreement include Center Point's commitment to construct a new building and commence business operations by the end of 2026 and immediately employ 4 staff. There is possibility of that number of staff increasing over time, which is great. They will also be paying the full cost of constructing a rock and gravel extension of Fort Kearny Street, completed to city standards. And then if we need to further develop that street and pave it in the future, then that'll be subject to a different negotiated agreement. They'll also be paying the full cost of construction necessary water mains for the extension of fire hydrants that are also completed to public standard. And those fire hydrants are necessary to meet fire code to be able to cover the area of the building. As far as the city commitments, we'll pay the cost of professional design and construction administration and construction observation for the extension of Fort Kearny Street with rock and gravel surfacing, as well as the extension of those water mains and fire hydrants. And that'll be the next item to consider on the agenda if you approve this one. We've also committed to applying for a property tax exemption. It would be subject to the Board of Kansas Tax Appeals approval. So we can commit to applying, but they have ultimate authority to approve it. And that would be for 5 years. Property tax exemption for up to 5 years. Estimated total cost of the city cash contribution would be $40,500, and that would be aligned with Campbell and Johnson's fees again that we'll look at here at the next item. Are there any questions?
Does that street include curb and gutter or just gravel?
Defer to Jason on the design for public.
The last conversation I had with city staff, it was just going to be gravel. That would still be open to continued conversation, should we all decide to proceed forward with that part of it. I could sit down with Shane and with Amy and we could decide the best course of action there. Yeah, I think that would warrant some conversation.
Curb and gutter usually breaks down easily though, I believe with gravel roads, and then if there's not concrete, you know, like sidewalks or something like that, I don't know that it makes sense. Of course, there would need to be drainage if there's any water issues. But otherwise,
We probably have to go back in and renegotiate that with the developer, because negotiations are concluded at the time of this writing.
in the future, if it would be paved, then it would be definitely a necessity at that point, I would think.
I've moved to authorize the mayor to sign the development agreement with Centerpoint.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Lambert, second by Commissioner Hash to approve the signing of the development agreement with Center Point Formulations. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Thank you.
And then we have the professional service agreement for Fort Kearny Street and the water mains.
Mayor and Commissioners, we're asking you to then, based on the approval of that development agreement, to follow through with that commitment and to engage with Campbell and Johnson for professional services to design those extensions and then to provide construction administration and observation. And Jason's here if you have any questions about that agreement.
Again, this would be for the development of professional plans for the extension of that water line and the extension of the street for the city standards to take care of any construction administration, including any public bid lettings that need to happen, and then to be on site during the construction of those improvements to make sure they get constructed in the manner in which they are planned and specified.
Are you on site through the whole development or do you just come and go?
Both. For the cost in this professional service agreement for the amount of time I think it should take to construct that, we will probably be there almost all the time, more than 80% of the time. I find it hard to say that you were inspecting a project if you're not there actually and putting your eyes on it. So that's how we choose to.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
I move to authorize the city manager to sign the agreement with Campbell and Johnson for services related to the extension of Fort Kearney Street and water mains, in the amount of $21,500.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hutchison, second by Commissioner Wentz. Have any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you. Next, we have the USD 333 license agreement for the parking lot in the right of way.
Mayor and Commissioners, we're really excited that the school district has chosen to pave the parking lot on the north side of the high school. This is going to be a great addition. The off-street parking was already a great addition to the neighborhood to help out with events and just normal day-to-day traffic flow there. Paving the parking is also going to help us manage our storm drain system better by the temporary surface of the millings no longer being the surface of that parking lot. We had encountered some challenges with those millings running down our storm drain and clogging those up. So we're really excited to see this parking lot being paved. As Bruno and Shane had worked with Kelly Strubing on the striping layout, we discovered that they were going to need a little bit more area than what their property area allowed. And so therefore the parking lot needed to extend about 7'4" into the city's right of way. So this license agreement would formalize that agreement that we would allow them to extend into the right of way. There's no other, any other approvals that are needed other than your approval to have this private structure in the public right of way. The license agreement outlines maintenance responsibilities as well as what would happen if we needed to get into that right of way. For example, to dig up a water main or something of that nature. So all that's clearly outlined there. Tom and Kelly are here, and if you want to ask questions about the project or status or have any questions or concerns. But tonight we'd ask that you go ahead and sign that license agreement or that license agreement so they can continue their project.
So is it just 7'4" on the Cedar Street side, or is it on both 10th and Cedar?
On 10th Street only, as I understand. Bruno, is that correct? Your understanding?
Sorry, what was the question?
The encroachment to the right of way is only on.
On 10th Street side, yeah.
Okay.
On 10th Street.
7'6" or 7'4", something like that.
So 7'4".
So then there'll be a sidewalk along there.
I'll have Kelly explain kind of what the plan is.
Because the drawing is pretty.
So, yes, after the 7'4", we'll have about a 2-inch, gap, green space, or depending on what we do there. And then we'll have, we're gonna reuse some of those, stone markers just to kind of keep, traffic from the sidewalk. That'll then proceed after that. So, we'll have a 4-foot sidewalk with an ADA ramp that'll, attach to a crosswalk. Just kind of halfway between the two, entrances to the parking lot.
When will it be ready to park?
So, good question. We had an incident with the pavers where they hit one of the poles, which set us back a little bit. That is, we're gonna fix that. They're gonna fix that. But so 95% of the parking lot will be ready on Friday. So we'll have it for the first day of school. The sidewalk and gutter will probably be in the next couple weeks. They really tried to work hard so we get that open for school. So it'll be a couple weeks yet before we get the sidewalk and curb and guttering completed.
We plan to educate students on the proper way to park in the parking lot.
We will try.
I'll welcome your first city.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I move to authorize the mayor to sign the license agreement with USD 333 for parking lot pavement and public right of way.
Second,
We have a motion by Commissioner Lambert, second by Commissioner Hash. Any further discussion?
just one question. Why is it called a license instead of?
That's just. what
Like a
they've been-
memorandum of understanding or some other sort of legal
Yeah.
jargon.
Yeah, the license agreement is just what it's been called every time I've used it for the last 10 years, so I don't know if Justin has any
Yeah.
other insight.
No, it's just because we're licensing them to use the public right, for the public right of way. An MOU would be more of if we were making an agreement between the two of us, I'm giving one thing in response to you providing me a service or something.
So we would license a utility company to do the right of way.
Yeah, you wouldn't do an MOU for that. Yeah, but like, put up a new scoreboard and I'm gonna put my advertisement up, there's an MOU right there. I'll pay this amount and you'll put up my logo or whatever.
All right,
Curious.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Next is the Benishek Design Service Agreement for sidewalks to schools.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is another agreement that goes in place for the Sidewalks to Schools project. Recall this was a $1.032 million KDOT grant that we received or were awarded for this past year. That it will improve sidewalk and pedestrian access and crosswalk improvements around Concordia Middle School and then connect them back to Concordia Elementary School. And we signed the agreement with KDOT the last time we brought this forward to you. KDOT approved our recommendation to use Benish as the design professional. So this agreement is actually between the city and Benish, and this will allow Benish to begin design work. The next steps following this will be for us to take that design and then determine how much easement we're gonna need to actually construct those sidewalks. And then that'll tell us which property owners we need to go visit with to ask for permission to be in that easement while we're constructing that sidewalk. Once we get that done, then we can put the contract out to bid. And then construction would begin. We expect design work to take the rest of this year and construction to begin in 2026. And again, this is definitely working with the school district, with the principals of both buildings, with Kelly, to make sure that everybody is informed of the project and that they are aware of what's happening, that we don't interfere with their normal operations. For example, we wouldn't want to be constructing the sidewalk in front of the middle school and allow teacher parking at the same time where they're trying to back in and out and maneuver a couple hundred kids worth of traffic in and out every single day. So that communication is going to be very important. But to start the project, we're going to need to be able to approve the design agreement here with Finish, as we're asking you to do tonight. Also recall that this is a grant that is 100% paid by KDOT, so there is no local match required of the city. We did budget a little bit in case we do need to pay for some of the easement to be able to construct the sidewalk. If there's any overages beyond what has been budgeted, then that would be 100% to the city. At this point, we don't anticipate any.
I move to approve the grant agreement with Benish for design services associated with the KDOT Sidewalk for Schools project.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hash, second by Commissioner Lambert. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Next, we have the minutes of the July 16th, 2025 meeting. And the July 14th and 16th budget meetings.
Move to approve the minutes of the July 16th, 2025 and the budget meeting minutes of July 14th and July 16th.
Second,
A motion by Commissioner Hutchison, second by Commissioner Hash to approve the minutes of the said meetings. Any further discussion? All in favor?
aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Appropriation ordinance number 14.
I move to approve appropriation ordinance number 14.
Second. We have a motion by Commissioner Wentz, second by Commissioner Hutchison to approve appropriation ordinance number 14. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Ordinance 2025-3236, Public Uniform Offense Code.
This is coupled up with the next one, which is the standard offense code. Every year we have to renew these. It's just the time of the year to do it again. They do make, you'll see in the attachment, they do make some changes every year. There wasn't a whole lot made this year. They did make a new, in the standard traffic ordinance, a new section on passing a stationary vehicle displaying hazard or caution signals. And then they did amend some things simply to change some wording. And then the last section, the failure to comply with the traffic citation, is they've extensively amended that, and that is because we have run into issues and they're trying to work with a lot of larger municipalities. You don't pay a traffic citation, your license gets suspended. And then what happens is that these folks then continue to drive because they have to get to work or whatever. You start to pile up these driving while suspended, you end up in jail. And then so with Topeka, for example, jail was overcrowded because simply they had too many people on driving while suspended charges. So they were actually trying to do away with a lot of that. What they've done kind of in compromise is to allow for restricted licenses in certain circumstances. So most of this section 201.1 has been completely rebuilt just to address the certain situations someone could get a restricted license and what fashion they could, if they qualify, if they don't qualify. Super exciting stuff we get to deal with in municipal court. However, I do think it's a good thing because we get these folks in a constant cycle of, well, I got to get my kids to school, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And they just continue, they get down into a hole where they'll never be able to get their license back. And then I'll go ahead and just talk about the changes in the other one. If anybody has any questions, you can ask. In the public offense code, the big one is they have added certain infrastructures in the trespassing on a critical infrastructure facility. You'll see the A, B, C, and D are new ones more specific that they've added. So make sure you don't trespass in any of those places. And then I believe that is it. So if anybody has any questions, I can ask questions.
I move to approve ordinance 2025-3236.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Lambert, second by Commissioner Hutchison to approve appropriation 2025-3236.
I have a question.
Yes.
In our packet, it says they're different numbers.
Yeah, that's all.
So this is right.
This is right.
Okay. Right.
Also had a question on, this is unrelated to the stuff you added, but as we read through this and we're making approvals, the numbered flags on the vehicles, we don't use the flags anymore, right? Aren't we just using stickers now? So should we should we?
I guess I didn't realize we weren't using flags yet.
I guess they just started that this year.
Yeah,
They have larger stickers.
Okay.
So should we just cross out the part beyond
we
the,
can-
and a numbered flag to be attached to the vehicle? So
Yeah, and since that has already been something that we changed, we can just change that. Stacey, if you want to make a note of that, you have a pen right there. We'll just change it to say stickers instead of, because last year we had to change it because we had a specific color and then it was a different color. So I made sure to take that out, but I thought we still had flags. So needless to say, I don't have one of those fun little vehicles. So,
Yeah, I wondered why I wasn't seeing flags.
I actually did too the other day, so.
Little.
Curiously, how many do we have registered with the city? Approximately.
For some reason, 70 comes to my
Okay,
head.
so under 100?
There's been more this year. Than last year. I think maybe not having the flags has helped a little bit. I don't know.
I see some pretty young people driving those things around. So.
been noticed.
Ashley brought that up at the last meeting, that you do need to be a licensed driver, so there's.
And they
not a
have to be
reminder.
insured too.
The vehicles have to be
Yeah.
insured and the licensed driver be the.
I believe
main
that you have to
driver.
demonstrate like insurance to receive your sticker,
They
so
do.
In order to get the sticker.
proof of insurance. Yeah.
But probably the children aren't coming in with that.
Yeah, I'm guessing there wouldn't be a permissible driver under that policy either, so.
Any other questions? Okay, all in favor?
I,
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. And next we have the ordinance 2025 3237, separate motion.
I move to approve ordinance 2025-3237.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Lambert, second by Commissioner Wentz to approve ordinance 2025-3237. Any further discussion? All in favor?
I,
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Thank you.
The next item is the grant agreement for the downtown fees.
Mayor and Commissioners, this was a grant that we received, originally we thought it was through Kansas Forest Service, but it's actually a community IRA grant through the federal government that flows through K-State that's associated with Kansas Forest Service. So it's really kind of a convoluted, confusing thing, but it's been really good for us in that the person that we're working with that works for K-State and is associated with Kansas Forest Service was able to actually increase our grant amount award to $92,807. So it will cover all of the planting, so the tree removal, the tree planting, which we have to plant 2 trees for every tree that we remove. And then it will also cover removal and replacement of the brick planter areas and some tree grades. So part of this plan includes taking away the brick planters that go vertical and tend to kind of become trip hazards at some point, and taking those away and resetting the brick and putting tree grades instead. So it's a flat surface across there, which would be really nice. We'll also be capping off the water lines, and then the electrical boxes will stay there, and those will be repaired and upgraded so they can be used for events like Fall Fest when we have vendors downtown. So this work is expected to begin through the course of next year. So ideally planning would happen but right now, and we would finish that, but we wouldn't start taking trees out until after Fall Fest. So we need to kind of work with our vendor to make sure we get the right timing for the right types of trees. We know that we can't plant 2 trees in each planter downtown, so you might be asking yourself, where are the other trees going to go? And included in your packet is a plan at the end that shows the planting plans. And so we'll remove 3 trees from the plaza, prune 2 trees that are at one of the downtown lots off of 5th Street. We'll remove the trees in each planter downtown. We'll put 1 tree back in the planters. And then we'll have trees that will go up at the St. Joseph subdivision to provide screening between our residential subdivision and the health center. We'll also be providing trees for the first few homes built to go in their front yards. They've also had the college and the school district agree to plant trees at their facilities and their campuses to help out and to be able to improve the tree canopy in their areas as well. So it works out to be a very good partnership, and there's no cost to them for that as well. We do have to find a certified arborist to work with, and so we're trying to figure out right now if Blaine that we're working with can be considered our arborist, or if the vendor that we buy the trees from has to be the certified arborist. So we're working to get clarification for that. Either way, we know that we plan to move forward with the project. This is important to our community because right now the existing trees that are downtown, they add beautiful vertical tree canopy. It makes a really nice impression of our downtown, but they are blocking our traffic signals. This is a more cost-effective solution than changing out the traffic signals at this point in time. And as I understand from visiting with staff, when the trees were originally planted in 2014, they were intended to last about 10 years before they needed replacement anyway. So we are fairly well on schedule with that for them to be replaced. So tonight I'd ask for your approval to approve this grant agreement so that we can begin the detailed planning process and get started with this project.
Amy, after looking at the plan, I had a question. We recently lost 2 trees at Head Park. I don't know if there'd be a way to add, maybe shift some of the trees that have been allocated elsewhere to replace the trees.
That's possible. I can ask. I don't know how detailed they are on this, but that would seem like a good use of it.
Replacing 2.
Okay. And we could probably find a way to support it too, but if we're looking for places to put trees.
Yeah, one way or the other.
And you talked about the Broadway Plaza. So which trees at the Broadway Plaza are coming down? The three on the north side closest to Sixth Street. Right now, when you drive down that street, those are the three that are blocking the plaza screen. With the trees blocking the plaza screen, it's caused people to advertise less on the screen because people can't see it when they drive by. So in order to help continue to generate revenue from advertisement, we want to remove those trees so the screen can be seen.
My concern is that the trees were put there to be shade and they're
Yeah,
finally
yeah.
shade. And I imagine revenue from that screen totals less than $500 a month.
Yes, it
So
does. I
why,
checked.
why are we, I'm very much against taking those trees out of the plaza. And because then we're back to umbrellas, there's only 2 trees and everyone will crowd around there. It's finally starting to fill out enough that people can spread out. And that was the intent and the purpose. I think maybe an arborist is needed to trim,
They
but-
could be trimmed.
an excuse for the advertisement. I don't think it's worth the loss.
When I drove by, I noted that the flag was actually more of an obstruction to seeing and we're not gonna take away the flag.
Right.
So
Okay.
I'm in total agreement.
Well, and I found the trees at the corner probably block. When you're coming from the east, they would block the screen. But you're coming from the west, you shouldn't be looking that direction anyway. So, yeah,
Okay, so you guys, the commission would be in favor of leaving the
Leave
trees
them
on
as
the
they
plaza,
Trim them
Yeah.
up, whatever.
trim, yeah.
and then go ahead and replace the ones on the corner of the planters. Is that right? Did I hear that correctly? Okay.
And so then you'd have 3 trees you could, or
Six
trees
trees
you
you
could
wouldn't
put-
have to.
yeah, you wouldn't have to.
replant.
Correct.
The other, I guess what is the long-term goal of the Canada red cherries, right? Is that what those are gonna get as big as the trees that are there now. So what do we gain? I mean, I know that the other trees need to come out, but if the goal is to avoid blocking traffic lights, if those trees are used on the corners, then eventually we're gonna be in the same position again, and we might not have grants available to replace them at that time, so. Is there something else that we could explore? I mean, even if we choose to use those trees for the other spots downtown, the corners be different trees?
We can explore that option. We've got a couple of different tree listed in here. We spent quite a bit of time taking a look at trees. We decided we wanted deciduous trees. We looked at the junipers being downtown and decided they looked too evergreeny and we were really Colorado, so we wanted something that kept the deciduous family here. We were looking for something that stayed fairly ornamental, something that would be hardy and grow well here in Kansas. The Bradford pears are not an option to put back. Those have been deemed, what's the word I'm looking for, invasive species. We can't put those back either.
And they're actually chanticleer pears. They aren't Bradford.
They're different.
Yeah.
Okay, so, we could put these trees back in, knowing that in 10 years, we may need to look at replacement again. We could put shrubs in place, but the grant won't pay for the shrubs. You could go with a more columnar deciduous tree that wouldn't block eventually. So we could look at changing that again. We could go back with no trees, or we could look at changing the traffic lights over 10 years, like pay for that replacement. Those are the options that I see. Are there other options that you thought of?
Well, to me, they need to be pruned.
Yeah.
Every year
Probably very
consistently, so they don't get out of hand.
And I wonder what level of flexibility we have with the arborist, A-State, to share these concerns so that they can better make recommendations that would fit this. You know, so I understand that it has to be trees in order for it to be reimbursed, but maybe they have, we would like this to look like this, we would like this to look like that. What can you offer us to help achieve that outcome? And then maybe, I mean, they're gonna have answers better than I will, but I think we will, maybe somebody who works in landscape requirement, knows more than that.
I'm not an arborist.
Well,
So
So that we could achieve that goal and figure out what's gonna be
Yeah.
the most cost effective way to achieve what we're really looking to achieve.
So we did, I'm sorry, we did go through that exercise and this is where we landed, so that's.
I'm concerned that we're gonna plant new trees and not have water. Cause you're gonna plug off the water faucets that are in there. They were put in to water the trees.
Were they used to water these trees?
Well, they were when they worked.
Oh, is that what the issue is? They aren't functioning properly?
It's my understanding, and Jeremy's not here, he knows the most about it, it's my understanding from talking with him that they function, it's just that they were installed too close to the ground to be effective, so it's difficult to get a hose underneath us.
But they were never used to water those trees?
Not in my 8 years of being here, they haven't been.
So
used to water
hypothetically
trees.
speaking, they shouldn't require like we should be planting trees that don't necessarily require additional
Right.
watering.
All,
But you're gonna
all
have water.
trees require water.
Right.
Especially if there's no
But-
drainage into it. I mean, cause you've got limited drainage from rain into
There-
those boxes.
There are tree watering bags that you put on the base of trees. Maybe don't find them as attractive, but it is a efficient way to water trees and you can fill those. I mean, you would
Yeah.
need like a
But you
water
don't-
tank
Right.
and drive around and fill them up and then they slow drip and water the trees, but that isn't an option for. I mean, if the water that's there doesn't water anyway, then that doesn't necessarily help us. We'd have to fix the hydrants versus remove them.
Are they not made so you can add an extension on them to get them up higher? I mean, I don't know, but
I don't have the technical expertise, this is,
Yeah.
like I said, we've been visiting with staff and so talking with Jeremy in particular, because he was here when all these were put in, and that was one of his recommendations. It's probably going to be better just to water up, I think, use the tree bags than it is to put a hydrant, go to the expense and effort of putting a hydrant in there, it's something else that has to be maintained.
His biggest concern too is pulling the trees that are there now, probably gonna fall.
Oh, the trees by removing.
Intertwined into
Yeah,
removal.
that makes sense.
they're in a tube, aren't they?
I don't.
That's probably grown around.
I mean, they were put in these so they went directly
Sure.
down.
Roots
you
are
know,
awfully
the
creative though.
roots. Yeah. I mean, I realize they may not have done that, but that was the idea when they were put in. So,
I guess approving the grant this evening, does that require us to agree with what the recommendations are of the trees and their removal and their replacement of trees?
We're agreeing to the scope of the work, so we're saying these are our numbers, these are our types, these are the amount of money that we expect to spend. If we need to go back and make changes, you're welcome to table it. I do have a deadline, that we have to have this back in by, and I want to say it's right around the 20th of August. So I think that we're kind of butting up against that.
Can we add the words or comparable?
I think I'm sure that I can visit with him and can make the necessary changes that we need to. I'm not worried that we're gonna be locked in, but I do want the commission to understand that we have vetted this through and talked it through extensively with staff and with this person. From K-State, from Forest, that's really evaluated our certain situation. We've really tried to make it so that it's gonna work well for us. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. And I don't know how to get to perfect. I don't know how you get to a vertical tree that's not a shrub that looks like it belongs in Kansas, that'll grow in Kansas, that will never block a traffic light. I don't know how you get there.
we don't, but that's why you have two traffic lights.
I know, how many
Look.
accidents have we had?
Well, and you've
Have we
got
had
two
any?
lights at every corner
Yeah.
to look at that are facing you.
I mean, in Belleville, they used, I'd have to look up what the tree was. They have like a different tree, but they just don't have trees on the corners. They have trees in their downtown. I don't know if they have plenty, but they're along the street, but there is no trees on the corners. Which And Fall Fest, again, those trees are nice for shade.
Yeah,
Certainly, but I mean, ultimately, we're gonna be in the same position if we put deciduous trees of that size on the corner with the stoplights.
And don't prune.
pruning might help.
Yeah, the lowness or highness of the canopy matters. And if we did go with shrubs and or annuals on the corner, somebody has to take care of those, and we already struggle to take care of what we do have, so I don't know how well those would be maintained. So maybe we can, we would like to see the 3 trees stay at the plaza. And perhaps be limbed up, and then see what the potential, if there's some different alternatives for those corner trees at least. Or if it doesn't make sense to do that, maybe a different type of deciduous tree for downtown replacements. And then, is there no need for any more trees at the ball fields for shade based on the trees that they've gotten? Because we do, I mean, there's not a lot of shade available there, and I know some trees have been planted in that area. I know we're going to the schools and the college with a lot of trees. Is there not a need down at the ball fields for some more for shade?
With a lot of that fill, we've lost so many trees because of what they filled in the complex with, the soil. So, I mean, yes, there's a need for more trees, but it's even harder to keep them alive.
Because of the soil conditions.
Is that even in the outfield, like on that, I'm just thinking like the peewee fields out past the field, you know, where everybody sits, you can't plant trees there. The Lions Club just planted trees there.
Yeah, we have, just
Okay.
the more that's coming. So like they said, we lose a lot of them. It's not just because of water, it's something else in soils and things. There's a lot of trash fill in that soil. And they built it.
Could we use soil amendments or replace some of the soil around the area where the newer trees are planted, especially when we're working with K-State, I guess, and the forestry services on these plantings? Would that potentially be an option to do there? If there's I mean, I guess if there's a need on like our public spaces, I would prefer that our trees be planted there before they go to the college and the school. However, if we need more places to go with them, that makes sense. But if we have the need in the parks and in the other public spaces, my preference would be that they go there first. If we could potentially maybe do some soil amendment or whatever is necessary for that to happen. That's a lot of things. So with all that being said, do we need to table this until the next meeting, or just make those
When
changes?
did you say this grant is due?
I need to look real quick at when the deadline is.
Maybe we could head it to next Wednesdays, as long as you stated that was one of the agenda items.
We could do it, see, it needs to be signed and turned in by the 22nd.
And we're just seeing it now. If it's due the 22nd.
Because I've been busy with other things. So we have 2 more meetings, right? We've got the 13th and the 20th,
Yeah,
so we have a
so-
little bit of time. Do you think, Amy, that's enough time to? I will have to work. to do that.
Well, and I wondered, the trees in the St. Joe subdivision, are those to be after they build their houses?
The screening between the St. Joe subdivision and the health department can go in right now. And those need to be in place anyway, because screening is required between R1 and commercial zoning. So this was a great way to be able to achieve that at no additional cost to the city. The ones in front of the houses, when we were talking with Blaine about doing this, at the point in time, we thought we would have 4 homes built there by now. We don't. So the intent is to build them at the homes that are built there. Any home that's built by the end of 2026 would get one of these trees.
Yeah, I think we're real close on this. I think some of the discussion that we're having is ultimately working towards the same goal. But I think being able to have some time to refine it a bit would be helpful.
Definitely trying to not give you more work, but we do. The end goal is, you know,
I think
like
Second Street Park could maybe use a couple of trees as well. If you're looking for places to park.
Well, if we eliminated 3 trees to pull, then we have 6 less to plant. So
Right.
we definitely don't have an overabundance unless we pull them off of St. Joe front yards or if we pull them away from the school district and college.
That's,
You have those 6, 2 go to Hood, 2 go to Second Street. You're still
yeah,
looking to find homes for 2 more.
yeah.
So we should be in pretty decent.
can we remove, does it have to be downtown trees that are removed or can they be removed from other places? Like there was a tree behind one of those softball fields that had broken and are the 2 dead trees still at Hood Park? Do they still remain there? Or
No,
They were seed.
They've taken them out. Okay.
So when we applied for this grant, we applied for it with the intent to remove and replace the downtown trees because they had just deemed those trees invasive species and because they were covering up traffic lights. So that was the whole intent to start with.
So any trees that we would remove need to be in the downtown location. Okay.
I moved to table this discussion until. Well, I moved to table the discussion.
Second,
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Hutchison and second by Commissioner Hash to table the discussion for the grant agreement for the downtown trees. Any further discussion? All in favor?
aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Next, we have the reports, starting with the manager's report.
So we did get an update on our EV charging grant down at the Brown Grand. KDOT's engineer did contact us this past week and they are moving forward. They visited Prairie Land Electric, so they're all in agreement as to where the electrical pedestal needs to go, where the supply needs to come from, what size it needs to be. And so we do expect final drawings from the KDOT engineer sometime in the near future. Just want to let you know that that project is still moving forward. So we will still end up with electric vehicle charging stations in the parking lot next to the Brown Grand. We also had to move the public hearing for the community activity center from tonight to next Wednesday. So we do have a special meeting on the 13th, and I believe I sent you all a meeting planner for that. So hopefully you're able to attend. Did our best to notify people that we knew that were coming. There's just nothing to work here tonight. We did do the revised public advertisement to let people know that it was going to be next week. So hopefully everyone gets the message. I am pleased to report that we did get information on our website about the project. So people can go to our website. Down at the bottom of the homepage under news and events, there's a direct link. You can also get to it on the Parks and Recreation webpage as well. So you'll see there basically the status of where we're at right now, as well as the background information of how we got here. So hopefully people will come to the meeting having read that and be informed and be prepared to offer their opinions and suggestions. And then Shane asked me to give an update. The railroad crossing work is in progress. They do plan to finish the asphalt patches tomorrow, so that's a good thing. He was able to help them out and provide some barricades, which actually saved the railroad a significant amount of funds. And so then they were able to do work at a little bit higher level than what they had originally anticipated. So that's going to be very beneficial for people that use those crossings. I believe the Cedar and State Street will be really good. Shane also mentioned that he learned today that the traffic signals at 6th and Lincoln will be updated the week of August 18th. And so we'll do our best to message the public there as well to alert people to slow down because there'll be work being done in that area. Recall that work is necessary to update those lights so that when we proceed with the concrete panel replacement, we don't have to do extra cutting to put the obsolete loop wires back in. So we're converting that to a signal instead.
I'm sorry, what weekend did you say that was?
The week of August 18th is when those will be replaced. Also just want to encourage drivers to be extra cautious. Patients allow extra time as school begins. Our traffic patterns tend to change a lot. There'll be a lot more pedestrians, bicyclists, and new drivers in town. So we want to make sure that we're being cautious with them and allowing everybody extra space. I know the school district mentioned the work at the parking lot won't be 100% complete, so there'll probably be construction activity in that area as well. So just want everybody to be cautious as they're around schools again this year. I think Brent's got plans for enforcement with school zones coming up too. Also want to welcome our students back to Cloud. I think move-in day is Saturday, and so just as the students and their families come in to join us, just make everybody feel welcome and let them know why Concordia is one of the friendliest cities in the U.S. So, that's all I have to report, but happy to answer any questions.
There's no questions. We'll move on to the staff reports.
So just real quick, we had National Night Out last night in Hood Park. We teamed up with the Hood Park. It was great. We had, I would say, a little over 200 kids there. We had a great night. Beautiful weather. And then kind of moving on, I was happy to share that my staff, we had a break-in at a local business here in town. Within 72 hours, we had arrest on the subject. So, and we're making more arrests probably tomorrow on it. So. I was really pleased on how fast everything came together on that and how well the team worked with the businesses to get the information we needed. So that's about all I have.
I'm glad to hear that as well. Mayor and Commissioner comments and reports.
A couple weeks ago, the most embarrassing thing in the world that could happen to a kid happened to my kid, who was 17. His car broke down in front of Shortstop on 81 highway in the middle of heavy traffic. And Chief Gehring pulled his vehicle up and jumped his car and got him on his way. And I was very far away and Dad was busy, and what would have been it was a terrible situation, was so wonderfully handled. So thank you very much. It meant a lot to us. I have one thing. I've had a couple moms who talked to me about the gates at the Broadway Plaza, and I checked them out Saturday night. They're not working. They're zip tied shut. Can we ask our Broadway Plaza manager to get on that? It's been like that all summer. So those gates are important to those moms because that's how they lock their kids in and make sure they don't run the street. And also for safety reasons, to have those gates blocked, I think are with a packed Broadway Plaza is not great either. So
There's a fed shut.
the main one is
shut because somebody broke the post and they were swinging open. Yeah.
we just need to get them fixed instead of just zip
And
tying.
the Peltiers are supposed to be
Oh, good.
making a new one.
Okay, good. Thank you very much.
She just told me.
Well, good. We must have the same concern. Thank you.
I had a couple of things. One, I was asked by a teacher, fourth grade teacher, if a commissioner would be willing to speak for Constitution Week on September 16th. I know I've enjoyed it in the past. I think you've enjoyed it in the past, Amy.
I also enjoyed it.
Christy, I think we've all
Enjoyed it in the past.
So I don't know if we want to draw straws or what. I let the teacher know that one of us would be there.
When is that again?
It's September 16th.
Is that a Monday morning?
It's a Tuesday morning, I believe, because we have a commission meeting on the 17th. Right?
So this is for their assembly?
Yeah.
I thought they didn't have school that day. Or maybe it's the next day.
It's the next day.
It's the next day.
But they also asked, so I'll let her know that one of us will, and we can fight over it then. A game of my choosing. And but also was asked if we would be open to receiving their fourth grade class to recite the preamble. I didn't want to be presumptive in saying yes.
It's one of the best days.
Yeah.
But you have to get here early, so you have plenty of car.
So I'll communicate that we're open for that. One of us will be there. The other comment that I was going to make was really just to express my gratitude as not really as a commissioner, but as a resident of Concordia, seeing the fire department and the police department come together last night for National Night Out. Appreciate all the city staff that were there to help get the barricades in place, get the fire hose hooked up. Kids had a blast, adults had a good time. It was a great night. It really is, when our slogan is "We build community," this is what we're talking about. So in the span of a week, we have police department that are really quick to be able to respond to different citizens' needs, addressing criminal interaction, and also being present with kids, in a very community building way. So I think it really just speaks to the community that we're working for and living in. So my heartfelt gratitude to all your folks. Chief, Christensen and his folks, so, and also.
Don't have anything.
Got a couple of things, for Bruno. I'm always asking Bruno questions. What's the status of the house on Sixth Street that we allowed?
The burnt one
On Fifth?
on Fifth or?
No, Sixth Street, the Ford house.
Ford's house.
Yeah,
Yeah, they got a permit to make the back one habitable. And then, yeah, and it's, I was surprised when I went in with it. But yeah, they got a permit to fix that up.
how long is the permit good?
What's that?
How long is a permit good?
Well, you have to start within 6 months of getting the permit, and I've been over there once. Since they got the permit, and then you can't abandon it for more than 6 months. So technically, a permit can go on a long time, you know.
Yeah,
I've called them and reminded them a couple times, you know, don't forget.
and another thing, that glass is still in that window above the thrift shop, the,
Straits building,
yeah, Straits building. There's
Little
a
Sears.
piece of glass sitting on the third, one of the
I sent him a picture of that.
third floor window. It's still there, or at least it was earlier today.
Guess I quit paying attention, but you know, I informed them.
Yeah, because I still am afraid that's gonna fall. You know, if that building gets put it in too good a shape anyway. You know, if for some reason it would vibrate, that glass can fall on the street, on the sidewalk. So,
I'll remind him again.
Thank you.
and
It's
then
an attractive nuisance.
not for you, but I did have a patron asked me about putting a stop sign at the corner of Highland and Crescent Lane.
There's no traffic control there.
No.
And we have some crazy drivers up there.
Stop sign at Highland and Crescent.
It's
Yeah.
next to the Methodist
Church
parsonage.
Yeah.
We'll pass that on to Shane and have him take a look at it.
Yeah.
Even
Well,
a yield sign would be a nice
Yeah.
improvement.
We're a little better behaved on the east side of town and have those sorts of problems.
Yeah, you guys put up your own signs.
That's right.
Like, go slow,
Yeah.
our kids
We
live
encourage
here.
people to pay attention.
Or we like rabbits.
Yeah, or, yeah.
We're on the west side, we just live our life.
Rabbits do their own advertising, Marcia. We don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah, there's a few of those that have signs in the yard. That's all I have. I'm asking enough questions.
All right. Well, we are to,
At this point, I would move to adjourn.
Second.
a motion by Commissioner Lamberts, second by Commissioner West to adjourn the meeting. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.